Good morning, dear students. Welcome back once again. So, in today's class, we'll be again continuing the same chapter, which is your High Court, which I started last week. Okay. In last week class, what I had mentioned was just the composition of the High Court. Okay. Then, how the judges of the High Court are appointed. Okay. Its tenure. So, basically in today's class, I'll be starting with original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction and revisory jurisdiction. Now, if you look at these jurisdictions, it's same as for your Supreme Court, okay, but here slightly different because as you know, Supreme Court is the highest or the apex level court in India. Then comes the High Court, okay, and I mentioned this that there can only be one Supreme Court, but there can be a High Court for each state. Or if the states are smaller in size, 2-3 states combined together, they can have one common High Court. But all states cannot have a High Court of its own. So this I had completed in the previous class. Okay. So today we'll be generally discussing about, these are in short you can say the powers and functions of the High Court. Okay, now here High Court does not enjoy that many powers and functions which are actually enjoyed by the Supreme Court, because you know that Supreme Court being the apex court, the highest level court, does enjoy many powers and functions, whereas the High Court, though it's given powers and functions, but does not enjoy too many powers and functions. Okay, so the first one I'll start with is original jurisdiction. Now here the meaning of original jurisdiction here, okay, and the meaning of original jurisdiction for your Supreme Court is almost the same. Now, for example, in the Supreme Court I mentioned that there are certain cases, okay, which cannot be taken to any other court but directly goes to the Supreme Court. So this was original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Now here similarly in the High Court also there are certain cases, okay, which cannot be taken to any other court, but there are certain cases which directly goes to the High Court. So this is called original jurisdiction of the High Court. Now here, which are the cases, okay, which directly High Court deals it or which directly goes to the High Court? These are cases relating to your divorce, cases relating to your marriage, okay, etc. Such cases are directly taken to the High Court. Then any case regarding your fundamental rights or any case or any problem relating to your fundamental rights, such cases are also taken to the High Court. Okay. Then you have constitutional cases, means if there is any kind of a problem regarding the Constitution or any kind of a breakdown of the Constitution, then again such cases directly taken to the High Court. So this is original jurisdiction of the High Court. Okay. The next one is your appellate jurisdiction. Now here under appellate jurisdiction, here you need to remember that the High Court here, okay, has got the power to appeal, or you can say the power to hear appeal against those cases which are solved by the subordinate courts. Like in India, Supreme Court was known as the highest court of appeal, where Supreme Court heard the cases, or you can say Supreme Court accepted the appeals which are made by the High Courts. Okay. Now, similarly here, High Court, it hears the appeals which are made by the lower level courts, also known as the subordinate courts, because here what happens sometimes, the decisions which are given by the lower level courts, that is the subordinate courts, especially relating to your civil and criminal cases, the decisions may not be satisfactory. Okay, so what do? They make an appeal to the High Court. And does High Court hear or accept the appeals? Yes. Okay, that is why High Court also has got certain appellate functions or your appellate jurisdiction, where High Court can hear appeals which is against the decisions of the subordinate courts, and here subordinate court means the lower level courts. So any decision given by the lower level courts which is considered to be unsatisfactory, an appeal can be made to the High Court, and it is duty of the High Court to accept the appeals which are made made by the lower level courts. So this is called appellate jurisdiction. Okay. Then the third one is your revisory jurisdiction. Now by the word revise means to review, isn't it? To check, to recheck if there are certain mistakes or not. So here under revisory jurisdiction, here the High Court, okay, can ask for a record of any case which is solved or which is decided by the subordinate courts. Here again, subordinate court means the lower level courts. Now, why does the High Court ask for a record of the cases which has already been solved or settled by a subordinate court? To review means to check whether any mistake has been made or not. So here, when this revisory jurisdiction is being conducted, if any mistake is found, what is done? Strict or quick action is taken against him. Because what can High Court do? It can review, it can check, it can recheck, it can correct the mistake which is made by a subordinate court. Okay. So this is called revisory jurisdiction, where the High Court actually does not review its own statement, its own judgment like is done by the Supreme Court. Here, in fact, the High Court, it actually checks the decisions, the judgment which is given by a lower level court. Okay, and that is being done why? To see if any mistake is made. And if any mistake is made, what does the High Court do? Rectifies it or changes it. Okay, so this is the three jurisdictions which is actually enjoyed by the High Court in India. Okay, so High Court, I finished this topic, okay, especially regarding your composition, your tenure, okay, the qualifications. Understood? How the judges are appointed. Then comes your three jurisdictions: original, appellate and your revisory jurisdictions. Okay. So next class I'll start with your court of record, your judicial review and your writs, which is the last topic from your High Court. Understood? So thank you class.